Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the ESS Finance Subcommittee meeting, December 5th, 2024. I will start with the November 7th, 2024 summary of subcommittee action, the minutes. Has everyone reviewed them? Any modifications, changes? If not, I would take a motion for approval.
This is Geraldine. I'll make that motion.
Thanks, Geraldine. Do I have a second? And I am not getting my chat pod up, so help me.
Sherry
Sherry just
seconded.
seconded.
Okay, thank you. Moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Sherry second. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Let's move on to the financial reports. We'll start with Lisa Long, the accounts receivable update.
Okay, so we have three items. First of all, Clearest Fund 255, that's the invoice we send to the state treasurer every month. As a reminder, it matches, I believe, the receipts from the previous month is what is there. Then $2,500 to Iowa County Recorders Association. That's associated with the MOU. Sam, I'm going to need your help on the Keokuk construction one.
It was a chargeback. They said they'd be sending a check.
Okay. And that was from e-submission.
Yep.
Okay, so they didn't recognize what came through on their card for electronic recording, did a chargeback, and so we've notified them and requested check. So we should be okay
Great.
there.
Thank you. Any questions for Lisa or Sam on that? If not, we'll move on. And Samantha, if you want to go ahead and start with the December summary of November ESS payments.
Sure. So accounts payable, we have a few things that are out of the normal here. We have 3 payroll periods in the month of November. So I did highlight those just so you're aware that we have 3. Normally we only have 2. And then we had the ESS coordinating meeting in the office on the 14th of November. So we have 3 mileage reimbursements here. And then the MISMO corporate membership that was approved at the last meeting, we did go ahead and renew that 1 year's subscription to MISMO. And then Lisa and Census attended a district meeting. So this is the mileage reimbursement for that meeting.
Great.
Credit card charges. The 105.93 is for Mancy's new charger. Her charger went bad for her computer, so we did go ahead and get her a new charger. The 22.31 is for coffee and creamer for the ESS coordinating meeting from the 14th. Palmer's Deli here and the associated refund for taxes was also for the ESS coordinating meeting that was in the office. The $7.85 credit was a tax refund from Canva. And the $589 is for the PREA registration for next year. The $30 is for the Great Des Moines Partnerships breakfast. Census attended that this week, and this was the registration fee for that. And then the Survey Monkey, $954 was for the 1 year subscription to Survey Monkey. We are expecting about a $50 refund for taxes. We just submitted that request yesterday, so that should be happening within the month of December. I'd be happy to answer any questions on the financial or the payment reports. Otherwise, I'd ask for your acceptance and approval.
If you'll permit me, I would like to just add 2 comments. One of them is I want to give credit to Samantha. She has been very diligent. You know, when you set up subscriptions and everything for software that we have automatic renewals for online, oftentimes the they will charge cash, and it can be a trivial amount. And sometimes you say, is it really worth it to do it? But Samantha has really been on top of that, and basically every renewal we're providing the documentation to show that we're a non promotional entity, and so she's just done a great. It's a little thing, but she's done a great job of staying on top of that. So I want to recognize her for that. And then the other thing, back to the accounts payable report and the three payrolls. The other thing I want to highlight for you is that the final payroll for the period, which was on November 29th. That included the bonus payments to the staff that were approved by the ESS committee at their November 14th meeting. So, we asked them to review the budget. They approved the budget. And then separately, they considered the question of whether or not to authorize me to make the bonuses to the individual staff. The amount of that was $11,500. It was distributed to 5 members of the staff. And basically, it wasn't an exact number, but basically, the amount for each staff person, each of whom had not received any compensation adjustment in 2 years, was the equivalent of a 3% increase on their base. That's basically what it was. You may recall that in the budget that was approved for 2025, we did not include any budget for the base compensation of the staff. So the bonus was provided, but there was no money allocated specifically for adjustments to their permanent base compensation. And basically, we're going to be taking a close look at the budget. We'll see where we are at for the February meeting. And, what I'm hopeful is that the financial conditions are going to be improved, and then we can maybe do something to address that for those individuals as well as for some other team members. Other team members who were not included in that, just because of the timing of things, they had received a compensation adjustment during the 2-year period. And so that's what we did. So that 38,000 represents more than the typical payroll, and the reason for that is because those bonus adjustments were included. So just wanted to call that out to make sure everybody knew that has been done, and it also has been paid. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah. Does anyone have any other additional questions? Hearing none, I will go ahead and move approval for the December summary of November ESS payments. Do I have a second?
This is Geraldine. I can second.
Thanks, Geraldine. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Let's move on to Fund 255 with Samantha.
Okay. Fund 255 invoice for December 1st for the November payroll periods. There were 3, like we just talked about, 3 payroll periods in the month of November. The total came to $45,581.73. I'd ask for your approval of this to be submitted to the state treasurer's office.
Looks like Sherry moved. Do I have a second? I'll go ahead and second. This is Stacy. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Let's move on to the October 2024 financial reports.
The Bankers Trust account had an ending balance of $990,703.45. Beginning balance was $1,092,886.29. We were successfully able to reconcile that account here. The drawdown account, we were also able to successfully reconcile. Profit and loss for October, we did have a couple of chargebacks. Yeah, so that's what the $60 is here. We are charged a fee from Professional Solutions, so we charge that back to the customer if they charge us back. This negative $5,166.28 is from the maintenance free reimbursements. We did reimburse a few counties in which we were not charged from the service provider. Budgeted income came to $148,375.68, with revolving income at $3,426,787.89, with total income of $3,575,163.57. The $449.39 was from a replacement of a computer monitor for one of the developers. And then the local maintenance expense, this was the last invoice that we received. I believe this one's for Avenue. And so that will be the end of the local maintenance expenses for fiscal 2025. Total budgeted expenses was $120,422.75. With revolving expenses of $3,425,003.79, with total expenses coming to $3,572,426.05, with a total net income of $2,737.52. I did prepare a budgeted only profit and loss as well. That doesn't include the depreciation. But a budgeted income of $148,375.68, with budgeted expenses of $120,422.75, with total net income of $27,952.93. The balance sheet, $1,296,405.69 held in the BT account. This amount is actually lower than what's actually in the account because we are accrual basis. With total assets and liabilities at $2,567,780.73. The credit card account, the ending balance was $1,632.78. We were successfully able to reconcile that account here. Fund 255 for October, beginning balance of $205,222.93, with an ending balance of $163,214.34, with total receipts of $45,581.73, which matches the Fund 255 invoice that we will be sending to the state treasurer's office after this meeting. The reconciliation for the account. The Fund 255 profit and loss with total net income of $2,108.32. And the balance sheet for Fund 255 with total assets and liabilities of $163,214.34. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I have one question, Samantha.
Sure.
And maybe, Lisa and Phil can help. When, the chargeback, I know it's only $60, the bad debt payment fee. Do the customers know that? Do they, when they sign up for electronic, so is that credit card or is that ESUB? Or it might be both?
I believe both of these were ESUB.
ESUB, okay. So when they sign up to be a customer, do they know that expense is going to happen? I mean, in our county, we'd hang a sign that says, for a bad check, we can collect up to $30 that we pass on that. I just wondered if they get that notice, or when they sign it up, it's disclosed to them somewhere before they click a box.
I'll answer that. So
Okay.
first of all, yes, it is disclosed. When they sign up to be a new submitter, they're provided with information about the terms of service and, I think we're if you kind of look at it that way, yes, we absolutely disclose it to them. Could we do more to remind people of that? I think the answer to that is yes. I think there is more potentially that we could do to let people know. We kind of run into the same situation with the Lynn County project where, they are they aren't looking at our website, they're looking at the Lynn County website. So, you know, we do have elements of that web page that, says, hey, you're going to be charged and it's going to come from ESS pay. That is disclosed to them, but it's not Lynn County. It doesn't say Lynn County. So,
Right.
once in a while people will trip up with that. So,
Right.
I think that's something that we can going forward maybe do a little bit better job of communicating on, but
Mhm.
technically speaking, they are advised.
Okay, that's good. And maybe, as far as in the offices too, with, if there's a credit card issue, that the county should have that notice. Oh, good, Carolyn, good, great, Carolyn. We added a note on our renewal letters this year. That's great, Carolyn. Now, so so everyone is on the same page, that they know they're gonna get charged,
Yeah,
that, well, you never told me, or, and way back when you
right.
signed up many years ago. So
Yeah.
I know it's
Speaking-
trivial, it's only $60, but I'm just, I was just
Uh,
thinking out loud.
I think we have it resolved now, but the other anecdote I would share with you is that it has not been uncommon for people to call me on my cell phone and say, could you explain what this charge is? So, yes, we are notifying them and explaining it to them.
Yeah.
So, and we did get that phone number changed, so it's no longer Phil's cell phone.
Okay, thank you.
But, you start the conversation of, did you go to the recorder's office and do this, or this? And they're like, oh yeah, thank you so much.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wondered, so I'm sorry that
No, that's
I
good.
just thought I would ask. Does
No, it's
anyone
a
have
great
any,
question.
yeah, any other questions, guys? If not, I'd take a motion for the October 2024 financial reports approval. Thank you, Samantha. Great job.
I can move. Susan Smith.
Hi, Susan. Thank you. Do I have a
You're
second?
welcome.
Looks like Kelly Spees seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Looks like Sherry and Kelly and Deb are in the chat for aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Let's move on to the ESS financial and strategic review, our discussion. Go ahead, Phil. Thank you.
Yep, I would just say that the trends report, the latest trends report, was in the final version of the packet, and this is the time of year where things do drop off. I'm expecting the same thing to happen in December, but the good news is that we are above the levels in both 2022 and 2023, and it is not getting us back up to our peak levels in 2021, but we are headed in the right direction, and I'm not going to try and interpret the economy too deeply, but just from life experience or whatever, I would just observe that people do get used to higher interest rates. They do have to say, well, I want to live in a house. I have to get a mortgage, and so they do things that maybe they weren't doing when the inflation and interest rates were at their peak. So we are seeing a little bit of the loosening in the economy a little bit with the reserve and the interest rates and generally the health of the economy, and that's a good thing. And we, as you may recall, when we did the budget amendment and then also prepared the 2025 budget, we didn't get too exuberant. I think we stayed fairly conservative in terms of our revenue estimates. And, when we see a really consistent trend that is above that, then we can maybe think of some options. We can address the staff compensation issues. And we'll just have to see how the beginning of 2025 goes. But,
Mm.
it's good news in that, we are seeing a general upward trend. It's not huge, and we'll see how it goes. So that's my update and that's my economic forecast for the month. So
Thanks, Phil. What about the posting of financial reports? I see that on the list agenda. Oh, do you want to go back? I'm sorry. You see the posting of financial reports on there?
I think we just generally wanted to say that we on the accountability and reporting page of that ILO website, once we had taken the budget action, I believe those financial reports have been posted out there. And I think I want to give credit here to Samantha in this case as well, in terms of, being a resource that can help make sure that the information that we're posting is up to date. And so I just wanted, if you haven't looked at it in a while, it's out there. We don't publish the full-blown spreadsheet, that shows every month, but we kind of do the annual totals and get those posted for anybody that's interested in looking at them. So I mostly just wanted you to be aware that
Mhm.
we were doing that.
Great.
So, so that's all I really had, just an oral report on that. And
Okay.
then I think Samantha maybe wanted to just give an update on the Bankers Trust sweep account.
We did start that about almost 2 weeks ago, a little bit less than 2 weeks ago. Our first interest did come in at about $300 just for those few days that we had started, so that's good. So next month I plan to give you a full review of what happened in the month of December.
Great. A lot of legwork on your end or not too bad?
It's really not bad. It
Good.
seems to be going pretty smoothly.
Good. That's good to hear. Yeah, it is. That's great. Okay. Next on the list, thank you. Recording fees and modernization update.
I'm not going to elaborate too much, but make sure that we're available to answer any questions that you have. And Stacey, you might take a question here too, since you're legislative co-chair for the association. But you should have, one way or another, you should have this most recent period early this week or even right around the Thanksgiving holiday. We provided a full update on the bill that is being advanced to the legislature. The status of that is that we have found some Republicans in the Senate who are willing to sponsor the bill. And with that support, the bill has officially been submitted to the Legislative Services Agency for drafting. And the steps right now are basically two branches of activity. One of them is that we're actually sharing the information with the legislators, that we're circulating it, we're communicating about it. I have, and Census and Bob and Nick have a meeting with the Republican caucus staff member in the Senate to actually walk them through the legislation. So the staff is getting engaged now. So all of that is beginning to happen, which is where we really wanted to be in the month of December. So the game plan is working in that respect. And then the other thing that is happening is that now that it is in a form that more closely looks like an official bill, we're doing another round of outreach to the stakeholder groups. And we're saying, again, here, remember that thing we've been talking to you about every month since January 2024? Well, here's an updated version of that. And we'd be happy to answer any questions. And if you have comments or concerns, whatever they may be, please let us know. So we're not giving anybody any excuse not to communicate with us or to pretend like they don't know what we're doing. Nobody's going to be able to say that. They might try, but it just won't hold water. And then a companion with that is that we're seeing the work of you all, the recorders, who are communicating with your stakeholders and with your legislators, and it is noticeable. I mean, Nick has said, you know, he's heard from the senators and representatives who called him and said, "Hey, I heard from my recorder on this. I'd like to know a little bit more." That is working. Census just reported this morning that in Adair County, a presentation was made to the Board of Supervisors, and it made their local paper. And basically it was on message. It was to um, resolve something that had been changed in over 40 years, and to modernize recording. I mean, the core message was delivered that went not only to the supervisors, but ended up in a blurb in the local weekly newspaper or whatever it is that they do. And that is happening in multiple places. So, the message I'd share with that is keep doing that, everyone. Help get the word out, and just let everybody know. And then recently, we sent out the most recent updated version of the talking points, the handout. We included a Word version of a template that any recorder can use as a cover message to send to their stakeholders or to their legislators. And there will be more collateral materials coming out. So I guess I just want to say, if you have any questions about what's going on, or if you have any comments or anything, uh, hey, Stacy and others are here, happy to answer those right now. But in terms of having the latest materials, we've sent them out to you, and they're all out there. So I'll stop there. Anybody have any questions or comments you want to add?
Oh, it's very said exciting times. Yes. Yeah, a lot of work and more work ahead, but just want to reach out and say thanks to all of you on the meeting for talking to your legislators, seriously, and just keep doing it. Just any chance you have, and get the updated talking points and get that stuff out. Maybe a little email to all your, oh, Kelly said Senator Dickey was very positive about it passing. So that's great. Thanks, Kelly.
Great to hear, Alice. Thank you.
Yeah, very good to hear. Yeah, if you want to send out just a little blurb about your end of year hours and let your stakeholders know and attach that information, that's a great way to get it in their hands before the end of the year so they kind of know what's going on too. So any other comments or questions?
I want to add one more thing, and that is that um, be prepared to answer that question, everybody. When when the legislator or the stakeholder says, "Well, what are you going to use that extra money for?" Um, give some thought to that. So we don't have a standard answer for you to give. You know your budget better than we do. Maybe what your supervisors might be thinking better than we do. So share what knowledge you have, that you're gonna do something positive with it. It's gonna be meaningful, and it can help uh, you know uh, help your budget in your office, but it could also help the county generally in terms of the property tax question. So, figure that out. It's a local answer, not something that is, can be driven by us. And just give some thought and be prepared, to have that conversation. I'll leave it there.
Exactly. Great. Any other comments or questions from the group? Okay, let's move on to the subcommittee terms of office and the calendar.
Yep.
So,
Just a
okay.
quick reminder to everybody, not getting into it, but this is the time for you to, have that conversation with your representative on the executive board of the association, and also, with your district officers about, changes. This is not a suggestion that we want you all to leave. We aren't saying that. We love to have you. There's no term limit or anything. But things do change, and it's just as a ordinary course of business. So we encourage you to do that. And then Samantha, if you could bring up at the end, we have a proposed calendar for the 2025 calendar year. Basically, what we've done is follow the convention that we set for this year, and that is Thursday is a better day, consistently starting at 9. All of that seems to have worked, I'm confident that, particularly with Samantha on board, the work that she's doing, we're going to be able to be ready for each of these dates, even some of the earlier ones that appear in the month. I'm sure that we're going to be able to do that. So our request to you is this calendar acceptable? Does anybody have any conflicts or things you want to point out that we need to change? Otherwise, we're asking you to give your blessing to the calendar so we can all plan ahead for the next year.
I have a comment on March 6th. I'm planning to attend PRIA in San Antonio. And I think you probably are too, Phil. I don't know if anyone.
Yeah,
Well-
you're absolutely right about that. That is the last day of the PRIA conference.
So that may be a conflict, but I didn't know if anybody else on the call or on the meeting planned to attend either in person or virtually. That may be a conflict.
I've done finance meetings for my hotel room in PRIA before. I've done that,
Right.
but we certainly could. I'm just looking at the March calendar. An alternative might be to we could go a week deeper and do March 13th.
Okay.
Would that
Are
be
you guys okay if we just adjust that date to March 13th
the only thing about March 13th
at
though
spring break?
is that you're in your conference.
Right.
So that's the downside of March
Right.
13th.
We could just keep it, Phil, and then if something comes up or if we need to modify, don't you think we can just approve as presented the 2025 meeting calendar, and then if we need to adjust?
I think we could, and I absolutely could do the meeting from my hotel room. That's not a huge issue, and you could do the same potentially.
Maybe from the
so,
River Rock or something.
Yeah, absolutely, right out there.
Great, Sherry, approve as presented with possible adjustments as needed. So can I take that as a motion, Sherry? Great, so Sherry will move as presented and then we'll have to modify if needed. Do I have a second? Amy seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Great. Any other comments or questions? I just appreciate all you and Phil, have a great vacation.
Thank
Thanks
you.
to the ILR team. Great job, rock star job. So with that, we can go ahead and end our meeting. The next meeting is January 9th, 2025 at 9 o'clock. Merry Christmas. Exactly. Thanks, Sherry.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Merry
guys.
Christmas
Thank
all.
you.
Take care.